I'm Richard Eardley, the Managing Director of Hayes in Ireland. When we look at the Hayes Global Skills Index, what it's telling us is that particularly in Ireland, is that we've got this great talent mismatch. Now, it's not particularly news, if you like. We know we've got, particularly in the tech sector, more demand than supply. But what's interesting is that in Ireland, that's more acute than anywhere else in the 32 countries that Hayes surveyed. So it really is a problem. The score was the same this year as last year, so it's not actually getting any better. And it means that we need to look at both the skills that we're generating in Ireland and the sort of talent that's coming through the education system, but we also need to look at our position in the world and how we're positioning Ireland as a destination for talent and a destination for skills. I think really the job of educators is to broadly point people in the right direction, so that's your STEM subjects and getting people into those STEM subjects really early on, you know, not just at graduate stage but right at primary stage. But then to make sure that they kind of develop a culture of learning. What businesses want now is agile people and people with an appetite for learning. And if you look at Europe, Europeans do education, I think, better. You will meet people, we'll interview candidates here at Hayes who are in their late 20s, early 30s, and they're still studying. If you're in France and you do a master's degree, you'll spend as much time in business as you will in college. So when you come out with your master's degree, you're not only got the theoretical knowledge in order to do a job, but you've got the practical knowledge. You know, you've been at work, so you're kind of job ready. Whereas if you look over here, people come through the education system, and a complaint that employers often roll out against the graduates is that they're fine from a sort of technical point of view and theoretical point of view, but they a little bit clueless when it comes to what things are actually like in the workplace, and it takes them a year or two to kind of get up to speed. Looking at the Hayes salary guide, what's that's clearly telling us is the attractiveness of the contract market in Ireland, and there's lots of things driving that. Supply and demand, you know, there's more demand than there is supply, and just the breadth of opportunities, you know, from the large now established multinationals like the Googles of this world that were the innovators 10 years ago. They're now the part of the corporate scene, and then you've got the startup, you know, and sort of Dublin 8 and Silicon Docs and all that sort of thing. You've got a lot of the startup kind of culture, and that's just creating a plethora of opportunities. We're really having to focus all of our time on finding people, and it's much more of a kind of long-term play now. So previously, you know, years ago, it would have been very much, you know, employer comes along, gives us a spec, we'll go out and track down an individual or a couple of individuals to put forward to that particular role. And that's still what we're doing, but in order to be able to do that, we've got to do some long-term talent pooling. So we spend a lot of time on social channels, we spend a lot of time, you know, networking, events, we get our brand out there globally, in order that if you're an IT contractor, you're a developer, you're somebody looking for a permanent role, you cannot but help think of Hayes. Not necessarily because you want a job there and then, but we just need to be on their radar so that when they are looking for a change, they know to come to us. So a lot of our time is spent actually not on filling jobs that we've got right here, right now, but on making sure that we've got the people to fill the jobs kind of in the future. My kind of wish list for next year is we're seeing phenomenal growth now in the Dublin market. It was growing steadily for a number of years from a very low base. 11, 12, 13 was nice steady growth. Really now it's really hot in Dublin. And we're starting to see that come through in the regions. But if I had a kind of wish list, it was that the growth kind of explosion that's happening in Dublin now starts to replicate in those other parts of the country. And I think it will, but it's the one thing that would make next year not just a really good year, but an absolutely fabulous year for Hayes.